PNG, say no to drug. And by making me long, long.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone, and good morning to our viewers, and welcome to the fifth episode of Community Corner. So, our topic for this session is on drugs and alcohol and the impact it has on one's life, the family, and community. Also, identifying what can be done about it, what organizations are in the community and in our country that have programs and services to respond to it, and what action points we can take on and apply where we are if this substance abuse is affecting people that we care about and that we want to do something about it. So today here at the National Museum, we have a lineup of three very special guests, and we're really privileged to have, firstly, Mr. Matthew Nelson, Deputy Director General from the Narcotics Bureau under the Department of Justice and Attorney General. So welcome, and thank you for your presence here this morning. Secondly, we have Mr. Peter Aglua. He is the Team Leader Policy and Implementation with the PNG Sports Foundation. So thank you for joining us, Mr. Aglua. And third on the list, we have Mr. Caleb Kumbia. He's the Farm Manager with City Mission. So thank you for joining us, Mr. Kumbia. And also he's brought with him two clients. We have a former student who is King's Johnwell. And we have a current, former student King's Johnwell, and we have a current student who is Joe Paul. So welcome to you both, and thank you for joining Mr. Kumbia and the team this morning. So also we have two volunteers, community volunteers with us here this morning. Thank you and welcome everybody. So drugs and alcohol is something that's been attacking our community and our society like a virus. It is very challenging, and a lot of families, individuals, even professionals as well, and development organizations, both international and local, our churches, our government bodies, have tried in one way or another to combat. And today we will hear specifically what initiatives they are, what the current situation is, what has been done already, and what more needs to be done. So, firstly, hand the mic over to Mr. Matthew Nelson to tell us a bit about the role of Narcotics Bureau and the services that is offered there and provided throughout the country, some of the challenges, some of the successes, and what is the way forward, and if you have any messages for other organizations and for our people and families out there. So thank you, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you, Zohra, Sylvia, and thank you for this wonderful opportunity to be able to be together as a community. I look at people as brothers and sisters, all looking forward to one particular cause, and it is to enhance the quality of life within our communities, homes, places of work. We harmonize as people. I will share a little bit later about what we're doing, what progress we have so far, and programs not only here in Port Moresby but throughout the country. But it has always been a part of my life. I am an ex-military person, to the rank of a full colonel in the army. My role was I was director intelligence for a long time in the military. I have always focused on, before talking about drugs or anything, I always look at you and I as a human person, as a human being. I always talk about the body. God attributes himself to us in special ways. He has placed in each of us certain implements that we can use to be able to enhance the quality of life anywhere, personally, at home, at school, anywhere. God wanted to articulate himself with the human person and has made the exact image. It's in Genesis chapter 2, chapter 1, chapter 3. And he came down in the form of a human person. He articulated in the Garden of Eden with both human beings, and he placed into themselves, into the first two human persons, his attributes. And his attributes are like a government called men. And I have not always get out of this because it is the first thing I will share in any situation. In each of us, He has placed certain faculties, more or less like a ministry in the human person. The ministry of the brain, of the heart, of the lungs, the kidney, the liver, the reproductive system, the immune system. These are God's attributes He has placed in men and women. And we must perceive it to be the perfect, harmonized system that God has placed in each of us. And if we articulate well with God in this essence, we can perhaps make a complete person. And when He perceived that He gave us His laws, the Ten Commandments, we must live by every day. I'm not asking you to become a Christian, but that is exactly what God does. He perceives His goodness upon mankind. And in the same token, each of us must also perceive the same thing when we attribute or we articulate ourselves within whatever communities we belong to, even at school, places of work, in the home. This is exactly what we ought to project out to our surroundings. And I take something from Mahatma Gandhi, and he said, never, never, ever shake somebody's hand with a clenched fist. We see people getting each other a clenched fist, COVID-19, yes. But there is a connotation to it. When you shake a hand on a clenched fist, it means something. It is not the attribute of God. God extend a hand, shake a hand. Secondly, it says to make someone happy. By Mahatma Gandhi, to make someone happy, you have to do something that is worthwhile to that person. I will go on. I'll share with you a little bit about what we do. The National Narcotics Bureau was formed in 1992, enacted by Parliament on the 2nd of February 1992, where it has established the Narcotics Control Board. And the board consists of very, very well-learned departmental heads: community development, foreign affairs, police, CS, defense, customs. And all of these departments, they form the board. And the board is a policy. They direct us through some kind of a policy that we must work by. I don't want to go back down the lane on what has happened. It is water under the bridge. We've come back on board to be able to move in the direction that we wanted to be initially. We have within the Narcotics Bureau different divisions. Like many other departments, there are divisions within education, policy, planning, monitoring, and much of it is the enhancement of education awareness programs throughout the community and the country as a whole. Just basically recently, in 2019, we canvassed the whole of all schools in NCD, and we have virtually drawn down person to person, class by class, for a total of 72,000 students in NCD and also in Central Province. It's just the awareness and education part of it. But there are more to it than that. We're not only just an awareness program outfit. We perhaps coordinate all aspects of the work that we do with the police, customs, the the recent past that Lelia, we coordinated that through a mutual legal assistance through the Attorney General's Department in Australia. And that is many of the things that we do. Now, what kind of policies and programs do we have? Yes, plans and programs can be as good as it is, unless I am not talking about money. I'm talking about people that are passionate in the work that they do. I don't believe in money, I can tell you that. I can do this work without money. I can write programs, I can plan, I can write policies, documents, not even with money. And so far, since coming back in 2016, I was able to put together various documents. The national, more or less, communication strategy for the Bureau. I put that together, it will launch very soon. I put together the national strategy plan for NNB 2021 to 2026. That is in place, it will launch very soon. All of these things, we must chart what we want to do. We plan what we want to do. You don't just come up and put a program, but we want to see that these things are done. And not only that, we have now being able to forge partnership with churches, with the community, and above all with the Department of Education. We're now going to incorporate into the school curriculum a supplementary information paper. It will be put together as a book to be able to supplement what they already have to the curriculum division in the social and Christian development. And also, all of this will be put together. Next week or so, the curriculum division will be coming up to us, and we're going to sit down and write these documents together so that it can now be taught in schools from kindergarten, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8 and 9, and then the higher. All of this will now be, we are now giving these opportunities back to the teachers to be able to teach it. Because we see that drug and substance abuse is not the whole part of the community. It's only a fabric, it's only a group of people. But the wider majority is our children that do not have access to substance abuse in one way or another. So the best is to canvass the majority first up, and then specific programs for those who are already hooked up in this issue, and so forth. We've got this coming. These programs will be here. Rehabilitation part of it will be here. I'll share with you about when we started this work in 2000. A certain departmental head came to me and said, "You're crazy. Why are you starting this organization? There's no such thing as drugs in Papua New Guinea." 3 years down the lane, the same father who came in to veer me off this particular work said, "Bro, my son is deeply affected." By what? Alcohol and drugs. So I said, "If you would have stamped the work that I was going to do, your son would have been saved." But this particular person, young person, went through an ordeal in school. He consumed whatever he wanted to consume, both drugs and alcohol. He was a particular bad apple within the home. And eventually I said to the father, "Please take your son over." And we sat down to rehabilitate him. Up to a stage where this young person is now, a result of what we've done, is a lawyer by profession at this point in time. And I think we can succeed. We can do better by putting together all the differences that we have, come together as a team like this and share where we need to better in the areas of our own work. Yes, my colleagues will be sharing with you what they're doing. Sports, City Mission. Thank you for being here. In fact, it is a great opportunity for all of us. We can be able to do better. if we can come together in unison with the work that we do together, and so forth. Okay, before I finish, I'd like to share with you. We are going to leave a legacy behind the work that we've done together as a group. It will not be realized now, the essence of what you do, but 5, 6, 7 years down the line, as they say, when one person gives his or her life to the Lord, the angelic host rejoices. At least if you can take one person to get away from the habit and it becomes a success story in the end, that is the best. That is the best. One is good enough. So the whole nation that you can be able to draw these issues to. No. And I will share with you an experience also, my own personal experience. I used to drink a lot of alcohol in my young days in the army. And I grew up in that military life where things were on the golden plate. I was not able to articulate with my wife, who was working here before. I became a very bad person. There were three, four children together. My life went down. And my commander then at that time, Teddy, said, "You are just sticking a ship out." So I changed completely within a week. I was able to say no to alcohol. I am alcohol free for the last 30 years. And after that instance that I could not even contain my own work in my own workplace. It was so difficult. Because every moment I think of it, I'm already up there trying to drink. Now I have 8 beautiful children. They're all university graduates and they're all working. But unfortunately, their mother left us almost 25 years ago. But I'm happy that there is someone that I aspire to, with 3 beautiful children now, who've taken care of everyday things that we do. But they're not with me here, they're back home in New Ireland, where I will be uniting with them back in December. That's when I'll be exiting out from work completely. But the good thing is that this is a great opportunity where each of us can be able to articulate with another, find one thing that makes all of us tick. Find one thing that we can be able to put all these things together so that we all make a difference in wherever we are. In sports, city mission, in the area of narcotics, in education, places of work, and so and so. I'll leave it at that, but there are so much that I could share with you later. And we have other times. I give time to my colleagues to be able to articulate with everyone. Thank you. Thanks, Zohra.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Nelson, and thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's wonderful to learn that you're one of the pioneer officers who were there in the initial establishment of the Narcotics Bureau, and you went away, but because of your passion, care, and love for the office and the need to get it on its feet, you've come back again, and it's almost 5, 6 years now since then. So yeah,
Since 16.
6 years since 2016. Wow. So thank you so much. Yeah, we really admire that, we've got Papua New Guineans and senior statesmen who really care about, the role of alcohol and drugs in this country and the future of young Papua New Guineans, and that you're coming back with that institutional knowledge to strengthen and to get the office on the road with your team there. Thank you so much for your effort, and also thank you for sharing, your personal story about your own journey and how you've come into contact with this substance and what you've realized and how you've made a turnaround. So we'll come back to that conversation again. We'll now move on to Mr. Peter Aglua, our team leader, policy and implementation. He shared with us earlier during the week some interesting slideshows about his community services in is it your district in the Simbu province in Sinisini Yongomog? So you can tell us more about your sports initiative in the community and what sports has done and how sports has been used as a vehicle for change with our young people there. Thank you.
Thank you, Zohra, and good to be in a company of very nice people here this morning. Yeah, I was trying to come for the other session, but to go to New Ireland, Matthew's place. And by the way, Matthew's my friend. We've been around the policy workshops or all other things. Yep. My background is I'm a coach. I think I'm the only coach that was won a medal at the Olympics or Paralympics, 2008, Beijing. I coached this Eastern Britain person, Francis Compound, who won a silver medal for the finish with an Australian anyway. But everything about sports, I've been there lecturing PE and everything else. But now I'm really in a situation where I see that the sports aspect is, sports is a good commodity, very attractive for young people. We could use it to address community issues and concerns. So being in a policy office and being a team leader, I make sure that I spend 7 days a week literally sleeping in the office to try to write things which can be actually implemented. So I'll share you with that. Sports Foundation, how are we addressing this? We know alcohol and drugs is a really big issue in this country and especially in the communities. And so how we are approaching it is from policy perspective is we are going to engage youth especially in an area of sports called sports for development. We're going to use sports effectively to address these community issues. So I send my guys out there to the districts and they do a baseline survey and find out what are the key and critical issues, community issues where the youths are involved. And then we come back and we analyze that and we actually list them down. And then from there we look at what policy statements we can make for them and also the strategies to address these things. So so far we've done it for nine districts now, Mulbaya, Western Islands, 4 districts in Middle Bay, 2 in Nauru, 2 in Western Britain, and the next month we'll start in beautiful New Ireland. Okay, so there's 4 provinces and 9 districts. We're already starting that. We're going to engage with 89 districts and 22 provinces within the next 3 years, and actually sit with them and make them see that just like religion is very attractive, sport is also very attractive. But the country has been focusing on what they call the sports excellence bit, where they look at sending teams to Pacific Games or to Commonwealth Games and all that kind of thing. That's all in the media. But they really forget that sports is another important thing. So the use of sports to drive community changes. And I've done a case study on that, which I will share later. But just on the subject of drug, personally, I'm a father of 2 boys who have been addicted to drug, and this is the 8th year now. I'm handling 1, 3 times in Laloki and out, in and out. He destroyed Ward 6 in Port Moresby General Hospital, and he literally destroyed everything anyway. And every day I'm a dead man living, meaning that I have to watch my back. I never let him at my back. And so when you talk about having a young person like that in the house, I'm talking to you, it's not really good for thousands of parents now, mothers and fathers in the community, who are experiencing this, and the government turns a blind eye to it and deaf ear to it. And thank you for such forums that we can have that. At least we can voice these things in one day. I think that the nation can wake up and literally have a national intervention and strategize and move in a big way, because we got a big problem coming. So that's from my 2 boys. The funny things like I buy a wife for this first boy, and the guy says, I'm not interested in this lady. You know what I mean? Very stupid things happen like that. So I had to buy another one. So it goes on. The parents have all kinds of especially parents with living with young men like that. And so I thought, okay, I've been in Waigani as a public servant, Waigani rat for too long, so I started last year. COVID-19 was a blessing. Went home and gave my piece of land to boys and build yourself a house. Because everybody, the young people in my house, in my tribe, and 2 other ward councils, they they've had no opportunities for school and all that kind of thing. Government service cut off due to election-related problems. 12 years, 13 years. They did not go to school. They're out there. The only thing they can do is grow marijuana and consume it and become stupid, basically. And so I went and gave them the piece of land, bought nails and roofing and everything for them. And I didn't even tell them to play sports, but they decided they'll play sports. Because when Blues and Maroons games come up, they leave the village and all walk down to Kumbia where they can see and get a feeling up. So that's what happened. And you got a slide there, so you can share with people here if you know the image, share it to them, they can see. And so that's what happened. The youth slapped all victims of marijuana and steam. They've lost their body. I'm a professional trainer, so their body is a skeleton basically. And they decided to do something, and they've been in camp this year. This year, COVID-19 lockdown, I ran away and was with them. Came down for 2 months. And last week in Kumbia Rugby League, the first game they won was score was 4-20, so they won 20. The other 2 games they didn't win. Not only them, we're talking about 50 boys here in 2 teams, A and B. And the second is we also have the girls team in there. It's a requirement of National Rugby League now for all organized competitions to have a ladies team in there because of the orchids. We need to select our national team at the end, so all the rugby league competitions now we have women's divisions. But that's basically what's happening. And I think from all these things that are happening, I just believe there is, it can be managed. The issue of alcohol, issue of drugs, and homebrew and all that, it can be helped if we can just show a bit of interest. Not the government, I'm not talking about government or member or business people, but individuals. I've tried it, it has worked. And I made a commitment to it, so I will always make sure that I support in one way or another the technical team, the coaches and the trainers, as well as the players. And also we are organizing support in the village with SME thing happening, that the youth, not only pro rugby, but they have piece of land. They should grow potatoes, they should grow balbonians, which they do very well in my area. Some of the balbonians you see at Western City come from my place. And so we try to do that. They engage there and get some bit of money and all that. So the answer to all this is good people like you and me taking personal interest in your own community and don't have to rely on anyone else. Within your own means, within your own resources, just grow from there and see lives changing brings joy to your heart. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Aglua, and thank you for sharing what you do with the PNG Sports Foundation. Sorry, did you want to say something? With the PNG Sports Foundation, and thank you for sharing with us your community initiative back at home and what it's done to the lives of 50 young people. And that makes a difference, and that's really where the value is, that we're seeing that it's a responsibility on each and every one of our shoulders as citizens of this country and members of our own community and family to share and to care and to extend our hands and our hearts and our time and resource out there to touch the lives of another. So our next speaker is Mr. Kumbia. He's the farm manager at City Mission. So please tell us the wonderful work you're doing over at City Mission. And City Mission has been operating, I believe, for more than 20 years in this country. And it's one of the leading organizations that prides itself for rehabilitation programs, especially with young men in the development space. And along with you, you have 2 clients with you. So yes, we're looking forward to hearing from them as well. So please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Zohra and Sylvia, for having us. This is the first time that City Mission has come out to be part of the program like this. City Mission has been operating in the country for this year will be the 27th year. And after when it started off back in 1993 by the founder, Mr. Larry George, he started with his own money. And ever since that it started off, there hasn't been a good recognition with the program. Anyway, but he started off with the slogan, the logo that he wanted to at least see the impact back into the lives of the young people in the community. And the motto of the organization is spreading the love of God and meeting human needs. That is something that City Mission stands for and would like to see. We have 3 centers. Mosby, when he started back in '93, and then we have Lay Branch. Lay Branch is the second biggest. Port Moresby is the biggest. Lay is the second biggest, and we just had a Medang branch that opened just recently in 2016. And yeah, we have 3 branches so far, and we have a total of almost 200 boys. We have all year round 170 boys here in Port Moresby. We have almost 120 in Lay, and then we have the Medang operation, which had 100. Okay. Initially, when we started off, we had only the boys, but we saw the need of having the girls, young women also in the program. Speaking of which, when we look at it, it's like we try to address the social issues, especially with, it's not only the young men that are having this addiction, that are dealing with drug and alcohol in the community. We have young women as well going into those sort of things. So yeah, we already had women in the program, and then we're looking forward to have Lay and Medang also taking young women into the program to help them. And talking about drug and alcohol, it's one of the biggest things that we've seen in the community, which we have young boys coming into the program. We have a 15 months program that we run in Port Moresby and Lay, and then they stay in the program for 15 months. We try to take them through a series of trainings just to see them getting those addictions out of their lives, basically to see their lives being transformed, giving them a second chance in life, because most of the boys that comes through, they don't come in a similar kind of background. Some of them, they live off the street, and some of them, they've been raised by their mothers. They don't know their father. And these are some of the challenges that bring them into the type of life that they decided to, by peer influence or other influence that they've come to have themselves ended up with those things that we are here now. So basically, we've seen a lot of young men that came to the program that they come with the need of at least finding the purpose in life, and thinking that life is in drug, life is in alcohol, but it's not. And when they come on board to be in the program, some of them realize that I think this is where I'm supposed to be. I think this is where I'm going to find the true purpose in life. And we have a holistic approach type of program that we run in the program here in City Mission. And then we have a spiritual program alongside with the physical program. We have a recovery program, which is one of the things that I believe I've heard not a lot of organizations, NGOs, been running those type of program in their organizations. Recovery is very, very important. They tend to go through the program they have 39 steps, and they need to identify the type of addictions, the level of addictions that they have, and how to identify themselves as winners, and then they can make their way out of it, and then they can become success. They can be someone that they can be a testimony of their own lives, not someone doing it for them, but themselves, that they need to do it. And that is one of the things that I just want to point out, that we have a 15 months program. They go through the program, but the key thing is the recovery program that we have on the farm. And addiction is not something that you can easily say no and then it's gone. It's something that you have to deal with your life, and then we're not only taking boys from the street. We have grade 12s, we have grade 10s, boys that comes from a decent home, but it's just that having those homes, having those type of privileges is not the best thing, and that will not really help them out of the situations that they've gone through. Those boys having good homes and having all the thing being served on a golden plate are still not yet been rehabilitated in their minds. You can have all the best things in the world, but you yourself, if you can rehabilitate yourself, then that's the thing. You have to deal with it. And we have, boys from different backgrounds in life coming onto the program, and to sit down and look at themselves and to really see themselves as, it's not someone else is doing it for you, but you have to do it yourself. And that is something that City Mission has really been trying to impact all the boys that comes in, and even the girls that now join us in Medeng. Help them to identify themselves, help them to be winners out of the situations. They may blame their family, they may blame their fathers and mothers, but it's up to each and every one of us, taking it upon us to make it as our responsibility. So that is something that the City Mission has been really focusing on, helping them to help themselves. That's the key thing. And we always help them to sit down and identify where they went wrong, why they are doing this, what's the next step in life, so they can get out of it. And once they can realize this and get out of it, and then they're winners. And also we're now looking forward into having, this lot of this domestic violence that happening around it. That's something that everyone is talking about it. We are now trying to help these boys, which we have majority of them in the program, to be as advocates. Mostly we've been focusing on the victims, and we have not been focusing on the perpetrators. Now we are trying to help them get out of their addiction, get out of everything, and be as advocates, go back and help those ones who are in need out there. Help the women to help themselves, to help the husbands. Help the young men to be as good fathers. Come out of their bondage, being in slavery of whatever addictions. But here we are trying to help the perpetrators to be as advocates. And then we can put this, everything, all the issues aside, and then we can pave the way for our future generations to come in. I can continue, but I will just leave it here and then give time to my good friends here to say a bit about themselves. And thank you.
Thank you, Lokim Nishla Delo, Totoklos, addiction to me. Me at me won't mangi we me been come through Lodisla addiction, drug na alcohol. Side to me, Farab to me, I'm the big club pasta man. But once me come 2012, me she start in chelu Sunday school. Me she arem to talk to pa ma blumi tashul. Once me come 2012 chul, I'm 18 years old. Me film was me man finish so me pull out lo ma pa blumi na. Friends to me am all pulling me go outside the street, start to smoke, na making more isla now me put on lo isla one me up to no temptation to no, na me start to smoke lab no, smoke me round me no share to talk lo pa mag do me again me she sleep morning kirap go outside me she go smoke na, over drug morning net drug go avinon. Making more isla go and people inside lo life to me lose tin lo isla passing when me come through longene lotu passing. So me stop outside me joining more mangi, me making drink beer, drug, making more isla go and me feeling mushe mem abrushim life to me. So me stop inside lo isla addiction, drug addiction. Kona mi painim life to me, au one something straight and by senisim nisla passing to me nisla addiction to me. That time mista lo koki lo bodily settlement, talai settlement. Obrades se kam story osem umda good lab City Mission stop. You go by you senisim passing blue, na by you stop osem Pikinini man. So me arem nisla every day me she go round lo koki ela beach na more me go round me she looking nisla heart shape mission PNG City Mission PNG heart em she stop underneath to name more right City Mission motto spreading the love of God and meeting human needs. Mi lugim nishla no emoshem tintin to me mop lab no. Tintin to me click lab no mitoka em omda good lab we ba mi god na ba mi senishim nishla kainol passing to me smoke na drink beer no nishla ba mi senishim. So mi 2019 mi go antalo mission mi go stablo farm mesa trainee but mi stablo garen emoshem program mi place pianin program so mi stab inside lo garen samda kainol tintin nisla addiction tintin se puli mi go out again mi se tintin lo go laus ken make him nisla all same passing we mi lusim out na kam inside lo banise city mission banise mi se tintin lo go outside tasol omda tintin se to mi you come inside finish lo banish so you stop na you look him out program and run stop so mi stop mi stop go somehow this la addiction and molly me now mi brown lo temptation lab na ololi mi lo smoke drug so orausi mi lab inside lo city mission to sem also go sem drug na tobacco any smoke are not allowed in the city mission banisho once will catch me inside lo ape mo rausi mi lo 2019 na mika mauchet again lo settlement na mistap milugi miskelim life lo settlement na mitinim ke now mi go inside na mista 1 month inside lo mission finish na mika mauchet so miskelim nista life no se mechim life blow outside no mechim life lo city mission so mi tintin go na last year me go inside again lo 2020 June me go inside again me go inside me starting program lab me stronim tintin do me lab no me kira me asking me et one something but make him na ba mixim nisla life to me again nisla drug ba make him mo nisla alcohol ba make him na ba mixim life to me o jesus yet ba make him plan lo life to me lab me make him decision to me sana pantalo talk to me me stop come me sana me stop emotion isla recovery program to stop so me attend him nisla recovery class now se recovery open him tintin to me lab na mi sabe lo good plan na nongur one time lab me talk out him all nongur to me lo recovery now se me kirabim tintin to me back now na mi lusi mogera something Mr. mi bien program do mission chol kam now last month to me lo stop in lo city mission now and do this month pa mi graduate na pa mi go outside na pa mi show him all friends to me or brothers to me we all stop outside lo settlement outside lo street pa mi talk him all this app we mi go na mi come this app change him life to me na mi come up this kain man na mi stop so thank you lo they blibla one time me lo this morning time thank you
Thank you, Joe. Nice class story. Blue, you know me play one bill straight lo harem. Okay, next.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Johnwell. I was one of the ex-city mission boys. I was graduated at 2019 September of 25. Yeah. City Mission was a nice place. It's a good place for all the young people with addictions in life. I was a strong drug addicted boy in the family. I was the last one in the family, and I was very deep in drug taking. I was so deep, even drug. I always deal drugs. I always sell drugs. I always smuggle drugs. From province to province, and I always do this, and I was thinking that life is in drug, but there's no life in drug. I saw that I was heading in the wrong direction when when I started dealing with drugs, it's when I was grade 5, 6, 7, and I would start playing with drugs. I've been playing it for almost 9 years in my life. I've been playing with drugs and alcohol. So it's becoming a strong addiction in my life when my dad and mom, when they walked separate ways, I was with my mom. Then I was trying my best to help my mom put the food on the table. I go into all these sorts of activities that I do, trying to help my mom and my small sisters. That's why I would come back after school. I was go roaming around Kumbia town, searching for in what little ways that I could find any little 1 kina, 2 kina. I always do this, and I was very deep in that drug dealing, and I was thinking that I would be a drug millionaire. I was thinking that I would smuggle drugs and I'll be someone in life, but I saw that there's nothing good in drugs. I think that drug dealing is not it's not the kind of work or the life that God wants me to be. That's why I left Chimbu. I came down all the way to Leh. Then I followed the track and I came down Bulldog Tracks. I came down. They say, my mom told me that you come here and you'll go to a place, this city mission, and it helps young people. Many young boys, city mission helps them, so you come and you'll go there. You go and change your drug addiction's life, and you will change and you'll be a better man, and you'll help mommy. Mama always tell me. Then I listened to my mom and I came. I came on 2018 August. I came, and by September 19 I went up to City Mission. And on my way up to City Mission, I tell myself that I won't be like this for the rest of my life. I need to be a changed person. Then I made my decision and I went up there. I was in the town, and when I came to the city, I see that city life is a little bit challenging. It's not like the same as in town. So I went up to City Mission, and I thank God for City Mission. He helped me change my life. I went through the gradient process, as my brother has mentioned already. I've been through that process from phase 1 at the garden, phase 2 we came to small little departments in security, livestock. We have livestock. I was one of the storekeepers up there, the little canteen at City Mission, a school canteen I mean. And phase 2, phase 3 I came into the workshop, and that's the place where I will choose my trade. That's I came in and I choose my trade. I was thinking that I would be an electrician, or I would be a welder, or I would be a plumber. If I take all the other trades, who's gonna build my own house? I need to be a man to build my own house. That's why I studied carpentry up there, do a lot of practical and hands-on activities, practical. That's what gives me the knowledge to be the man. City Mission helps me. Most of all, the important things in City Mission, the one important part is the recovery class that my brother mentioned. This recovery class is more like it's helping us to identify our weakness and strengths. It gives us texts from the Bibles that challenges us. We are going this way down the Sid Creek. It's not good, so we better take another step up, and we better walk where the light is. We won't go down to the dark. We was once in the dark and we come back to the light, so we must always be in the light. So when we walk in the light, God's light is going to shine on us, and we're going to be the man in the near future that we want to be. That's why I came. Thank you very much. Thank God for City Mission, and City Mission has helped me. I was there complete all the programs. Then I graduated. After I've graduated, I said I won't sit like this. I've got a paper, so I need to walk around the clock, and I need to find some job so I can be employed. And I need to work. City is all about. I got no guidance, and I got no guidance back in the Moreta swamp. I have no guidance there. That's why when I was in my father's village, I was a hardworking boy. I work in the garden, help mama break firewood, do all these things. When I came, I see this. I said, "Oh, I better work now." So thank you God for City Mission. City Mission has played a big part in my life changing, and now I'm in this uniform. It's because of City Mission. I wear this uniform, and I am proud of being a City Mission ex-City Mission boy. I'm working at Lamanan Development. If you can see of us next to Vision City, we build a commercial and the residential. It's for number one super. They give us a contract there. My position I was carpentry. I was working 3 months in the field, and I was promoted, and I was sent to the base. Then they give me a machine out there called a frame tech machine, which that machine always manufactured all the frames, full building frames. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Kings. Wonderful story. So Kings is my younger brother. We come from a polygamous family. There's about 20 of us. So yeah, I was a bit teary, but yeah, truly, thank God. Thank God for City Mission, and thank God for, everyone who cares, who put their hearts and their resources where it matters. We're coming close to the end of our session this morning. I'd like to open the floor to, we also have Sylvia here as well, and I believe she'd like to share something. We're opening the floor now to questions and comments from everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, so listening to everyone, and I had all these questions in my mind and things like that. Like, I wanted to find out a little bit about what is the state of drugs and alcohol in Moresby and in PNG at large. And I think that comes from the fact that, we all know somebody who smokes marijuana. We know that seems to be very common. But then the harder drugs, methamphetamines, ice, things like that. When I was growing up, that was something that we would I'll just say it, you knew expats did things like that. Now, I hear a lot of young people are doing it, and I'm wondering how prevalent is that out on the streets? How easy is it for people to access these things? And how bad is it getting? And I know that, people think that those drug scenes in movies with the boats out at seas and the big warehouses hidden in dodgy places, and that it sounds like something out of a movie. But when we saw that plane at Lealea, it hit home. That's reality. So how bad is that at the moment in PNG? So that's one of the things that I was wondering.
Thank you, Sylvia. There is something that I'd like to share with you. In fact, we have discovered about 3 or 4 meth labs in NCD. And it is very frightening. It is not that difficult to come by. To produce methamphetamines in the backyard is very easy. I'd like to bring you to a certain commodity. We call it in a technical term, precursors. Precursors, they run the wheels of industries. And I can allude to you one particular precursor, yeast. That's a precursor. For making bread, sugar is a precursor. Salt is a precursor. Fertilizers are precursors. Pseudoephedrine, Cucus maracinia, is a precursor. It is a perfectly legal commodity that runs the wheels of industry or make life easier for mankind. But when you use these precursors to take it with another precursor, 2 or 3 more, and another illegal commodity, you can basically manufacture amphetamines or methamphetamines, the street drugs that you now find in Port Moresby. I am also a chemist. I can brew anything, but I do not want to teach young people to brew certain commodities so that it does not interfere with the body metabolism, the body way of life, and so on. That's why I said earlier on, when we really want to, we must have this program. Take the water, put into the heart and hearts of young people. Think about the brain, what it's supposed to do. The heart, the lungs, the kidney. When you take all of these things, it will surely affect 1 or 2 or 3 parts of the body. So the most important part is to know yourself, what you can do, the power that is in you. But that's answering Silver's question. Yes, it is. You've got ice coming up. You may say ice or cocaine. You can think that only use in mining industries, but no. There are well-to-do Papua New Guineans who are also happiness. Yes, that is true. That's why the most important thing is that we want to ensure that, and it is now, it will go through the floor of Parliament in August this year. It's a controlled substance bill. There are 8 schedules in this controlled substance bill. When we began this work, I'm not a lawyer by profession. We actually, as a layman, we drafted this particular bill, and it took us from 1990 all the way up until it's going to eventually go before Parliament in 2021. And it's an homegrown legislation that it deals with everything. So it's coming up. But not only that, we know that these backyard laboratories are also in parts of the country. We know that. So we're going to go 22 provinces. We're going to be established in 89 districts. And it is going to be one of the programs that we will need partnership. And our motto really today, as we speak, is our work is in our stakeholders. So we need each other. All of you, sports, City Mission, all the others to work together. And I believe City Mission is doing a great job. In 1990, Larry George and I worked together. He was a manager for BSP in Morocco, and I met him there. And I took him into Charles Lapper's place up in Morata. And we started there, building the halfway houses. So I know Larry George very well. He's an old friend of mine, a great mentor as well at the same time. So I commend City Mission for what they're doing. And also Peter for sports and so forth. Yes, we have the street drugs available in Port Moresby.
So thank you so much for sharing your experiences, by the way. I really appreciate you guys being here and hearing that firsthand. Years ago, I was going around volunteering at places, and one of the places I ended up spending some time at was Bamana Prison. And it was little things, like you bring books and you read with people, and it's just nice conversations with prisoners that I didn't realize what they were in there for, you know. One day I'm done and I went up to see Captain Kitty Keiko, and I was asking him, I said, these young guys, and they're really young, they're all teenagers. I said, they're so smart, they're so well-mannered, they're lovely. I mean, when are they getting out? What did they do? Pickpocket? What? Why are they here? And he said, no, Sylvia, this is maximum security. They're all here because of rape, murder, like you name it, the worst things possible, they've done it. And I just, that's impossible. I could not believe these young charismatic men could have possibly done such horrible things. And he said, you know, a lot of the young guys that we get in here, when they come in here, they're off their heads on drugs, on steam. When they actually get this stuff out of their system and you show them what they've done, they themselves can't believe the gruesome things that they have committed that has put them now behind bars for a long time, some of them life. And I just couldn't believe that. And I said, but they're so smart, they're educated. And then he said, no, the first time they got a social construct around them that was positive, the first time they got an education in their life is behind bars here. They all learnt to read here. They all learnt how to sew and make things here. Music classes and whatnot. This is the first time they've had a real family around them, supporting them in prison. And that shocked me. I couldn't believe that our society and our country is on this path that the first time somebody has a chance at life is when they've done something like murder and rape and they've ended up behind bars. That's when we educate them. That's when we look after them. I couldn't believe that's the state we're in. And so I'm sharing this because I'm curious now that knowing that's the most extreme and how you guys have saved yourselves and through City Mission. And I'm curious, like people that are going to watch this and listen to this, is there signs or things that we can see at early stages perhaps that, you know, we can see in our friends and family and those around us, that we can intervene, that we can do something about it and perhaps bring them out to City Mission and in early stages? I'm curious, and I don't want to put you on the spot if you don't feel comfortable, but if you could share, or maybe you would know from all the guys that you've seen coming through.
Yeah, there's some of the early signs that young children, when they take drugs or alcohol and all this bad stuff, doing those, going around stealing, those car thieves. Some of them are car thieves. These are all of these activities, or these criminal activities, and all the voices, when they do these criminal activities, they feel that they are wanted and there is no place to go. They all go back to City Mission and they rehabilitate in there. That's where City Mission, it really do helps those kind of kids. They go stay there and they follow the program, and after they finish the program, they come out, they go and find little jobs and they work and they be a good man again and they stay. And I was one of the leading example was good role model for my small ones back in the ghetto where I used to live in Morata. When I finished from City Mission, I came back, I was a good example. I told those small ones behind me when they want to go down the bad road, I tell them don't. This track you are heading to, once I was there and I came out, it's a very struggle and it's very hard. And you go down there, you might kill yourself. And I always tell them, I always remind them. So I don't like you small kids to follow me, what I do. You guys are new, you guys are another human being, you guys are individuals and you guys have your own life and your own future. God will give it to you. Guys must go back to church, stop this bad habit, and look to God and pray to God so He'll help you. I always tell those small ones which they are trying to start in taking drugs and drinking homebrew and all this, I always encourage them, tell them don't go this way. It's no good. You guys must come back, stay. You listen to your parents, obey your parents, and you flow. You will see the good results of it. That's all. Thank you.
Just adding on to what Kings have already said, the early signs which Sylvia asked is that when parents, if you are watching, parents, the early signs that you will see is when your child is not at home soon, when you're expected. The early signs is when your children start to hang out beyond the expected time that you expect your child to be at home. You will see the signs of the child will lose their appetite. Okay, their facial appearance will start to change. Their lips will start to go black, and then you will see the type of dressing that they do is will totally change from whatever that, the discipline in the homes used to be. These are some of the signs that you will realize. Or sometimes they will keep asking for money. If you always provide them money, they will keep asking for money. Sometimes you will find them sleeping, exceeding the normal time that they normally wake up in the morning. Or sometimes they're up at night doing some funny stuff in the house, and you will think, oh, it's just a normal routine of my child doing this and that, but it's not that. So parents, it's very, very important, even guardians and whoever that you have, young ones, young men or women in the house, just keep a good close watch. Their normal routine, their habits, the type of changes that are happening in their lives. These are some of the things. And when you start seeing them doing things that are strange, you can start, first thing it starts right at your home, to sit down with them and ask them. They have rights to say what they're experiencing, what they are going through. Maybe it's not you, maybe it's something else. It's about their relationship. It's about their peer influence. It's about the boy and girl relationship or other influence that can come into their lives that can, cause them to go in that direction. But where you are right now, I believe you fathers and mothers and guardians who are watching right now, the first step is to sit them down and talk to them. And then you either deal with them there or you can bring them to City Mission. And we are so happy to take them on board and help you deal with those type of issues that we were facing in our communities and the societies. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. I couldn't agree more than the signs and symptoms that you just mentioned. When we began this work, we used to run parents' seminars as early in identifying issues of drugs and alcohol. We used to run men's seminar and so forth in the early 90s. We are going to reintroduce this again so that it builds an early platform for parents to realize the signs and symptoms, especially in their own homes. And this program will be coming very attentively with the Department of Education. We will do that. It's a combined seminar that will be run by Education Department and us. Again to Sylvia, I'd like to share with you later, it's in my laptop, a program that we did at Pomana in 2018. It's very recent. It's on music. I've got 12 songs that have been sung by inmates, both males and females, to getting them away from knowing that they were there for drugs and alcohol. They're now saying that, get rid of it. So they've realized what has happened to them. So we can also get them out through music, telling them to say no to these things before they get to City Mission. Then they can be rehabilitated and be reintegrated back into the communities. Thank you.
Just something that really touched me was that what you are doing up there is the answer to the problems. The City Mission, you have the answer. Whereas Bomana and other, the jails, it's a long-term thing. They have to save time, and then come out rehabilitated. But you guys have a quick fix to it. Now my question is, and I think all the people in Papua New Guinea want to know, is your expansion program. How do you see your partnership with provincial government and local members, for that matter, to resource support what you are doing so we can have this thing moving dynamically, so that not just like we've heard testimonies today from 2 young men here, we want to hear from thousands of people. I don't think police is the answer. I don't think the courts are the answer. The answer is you got it. And this good news should be preached for modern Papua New Guineans. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that nice question. Before I answer your question, what we normally tell the boys when they come up to the program is, we're not a prison camp. Okay, we are not warders and prisoners. We are not police and rascal, whatever you can call. We are just helpers. We like to help them to be a genuine citizen, someone who can understand and appreciate them. Give them a second chance in life to be a complete human being. Coming to your question, my brother, thank you very much. Ever since the program started, we've put out some invitations. We even do some awareness, and we just make awareness so that we can at least have some stakeholders. We have good people, but with the question that you've asked with the provincial government and national government and things like that, yes, we did put our hands out. We did send some invitation for them, but ever since, hardly any response came back in favor of us. And that's the saddest thing. And that is the saddest thing. I remember just early last year, we asked, I will not make mention of any name, but we asked one of the governor to come to the city mission, and a total of 170 boys plus 21 staff, we decorated the place, and we waited from 9 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we just have to pull all the decorations down. And that's the saddest thing. Papua New Guinea needs to know about city mission. Papua New Guinea needs to know about what city mission is doing. City mission is all about helping another citizen become a good citizen, and the message can be transferred to the other, like what we mentioned earlier on. And we want to work with stakeholders. We want to work with national agencies that we can partner with to bring. We want to forge the program into our normal program that we have, and to see how we can transform life. Yes, City Mission is the place to go. Let me put it this way. City Mission is the go-to place, and we'd like to put us that place, because whenever your child comes to City Mission from day one to last day, they spend nothing. They spend nothing. I have my two testimonies here who are sitting right here with us this morning. They spend nothing from day one to last day. City Mission is a home to the desperate. It's a home to the marginalized young men, especially. Now we have young women in the program all year round. We feed them, we clothe them, from generous business houses who comes in to help us in cash or kind. And we have few donors, international agencies that come in to help us, to aid us, to support these young people. There's hardly any help that came or we've received so far from the government of our country. And that is the saddest thing. And I'd like to see the nation come to realize that City Mission is the place that all of us need to contribute together. If you have any way that you can support this organization, I'll be more than willing to be in touch with you, and we can help contribute. It's all about these young people. It's all about the future of this country. It's all about the nation building that we are now gathered this morning to discuss. And that is the focal point that we all want to really, embrace on, to see this move going forward. Thank you.
Where we are, we have organizations like Juvenile Justice branch, we have the Parole branch, and Community branch. And I will organize a meeting with you and your team to come and meet with us. And perhaps you can see something through from there. We are a government entity, and as I've said earlier on, our motto is we work in partnership with our stakeholders. It doesn't matter who, another government organization or an NGO or CBO or FBOs. That's our motto for us. So we'll have a meeting, I'll organize, we'll have a meeting, and you can come in and see us.
Just addition to what I've said earlier, we had some of our clients from Laloki that come to us, and one of the testimony, young man here, he went 50-50 stage when he came in. we spent a good time sitting down with him to help him. When he was in the program, we had 2 other clients that came from Laloki. We had the team from Laloki that normally visit us. Family said, we don't want to deal with Laloki anymore. And we said, it's okay. It's a voluntary thing. Whatever happens, worst comes to worst, we will always refer it back to Laloki. And we took that challenge, and we took that young man on, and we had him on a monthly basis to at least get the team from Laloki to visit us. And then also we had 2 boys underage that came in. Normally it's not for underage boys, but seeing the need, we open up to 2 boys from juvenile. I think juvenile 2 years ago, and they came and they stayed in the program, and that's when it opened up a bit to have underage boys coming in, and then it was a good success. But they decided to leave, and so we said it's okay. But we're looking forward to it to work not only with juvenile and Laloki, but other organizations that we can work with. Thank you.
So I'm really excited to see that, our conversation has brought out positive opportunities and way forward. Mr. Caleb, do you want to say something?
Thank you once again for the team to host this gathering here this morning. It's an honor for City Mission PNG as a rep from the program here, and I'm really looking forward to work with stakeholders and partners and how we can address this issue and tackle it and put it to rest once and for all, and see our country. It's a Christian country. We just need to stand on our feet, work together, and eradicate all this. This is not part of our lives. It's something foreign. When we can hold hands and work together, and then it will surely go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Caleb. Does anyone else have a question, a final question maybe? Okay, Mr. Aglua.
Thanks, Zohra. It's just, I think, sort of additional comment is, representing the parents who are victims in this thing when our young people, muck up. So as a parent, I think there are many thousands of parents out there. And we are taxpayers. And we have a legal right to government service. And I think our government, through the agencies, responsible agencies, by trying to set their own key priorities and move in their own directions, I don't think we are getting anywhere. Because I'm a policy person talking. That M&E beat, no one has critically called for a cross-sector M&E thing where we see what City Mission is doing, community development doing, National Youth Authority is doing, NVS is doing, those, so we can see in front of us where this country is going in terms of performance in addressing community issues. No. I've been to many lousy meetings. All we do is just creating laws and policies and spend the money, and where is the result? Just where the problem is. And national planning, the problem they have is they're coming with too many templates for different policies, and the next year round so I'm talking about what's happening in Wageni. I'm one of them. But the answer, I said, the shining light is the vision, the story we have there. And we just need maybe one politician, that's all, that's enough. Or someone to, let's say a minister for community development, some minister, has to now just, make sure that we get attention, we get a resource support to try and move this thing forward by addressing this issue. It's a big issue. We're talking about our citizens. God knows, they have that right to service. What we are worried about is trying to educate our people, putting a lot of money into education, a lot of money into health, and all these kind of things. And the victims of drug, victims of alcohol and all this, they are out there as our two, living testimonies here. And they are neglected. This nation is neglecting human resource who are out there. They are potential with the God's plan, to contribute to nation development. And we educate them, spend a lot of money, educate them, throw them into the community there and tell them, no, we're not interested in you. This is really a shame. Now, I've been around the world and been to many countries as a community development officer, and I know a lot of countries, not well-to-do countries, but in the countries like ours, in the third world or developing countries, they are taking, special interest in youth and addressing this. And I think Papua New Guinea is not there yet. We are not addressing. Trying to help our youth, and we need to apologize to the youth. Really, we really need to apologize to the youth who are there, who are not, given any attention. We're not engaging them in any way, and this is really not good. It's a big failure. And so, if we have to make a recommendation from such a forum like this, we just tell them that the government is going to wake up. It's an area the government has not really realized that there are thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people there, young people out there, and they need this particular help in their rehab bit for alcohol as well as drug.
Thank you, Mr. Aglua. And yes, definitely conversations will continue outside of this space and circle and event. And there's, a lot for us to do as we hold hands and see where we stand in our different organizations and different circle of influence, and taking that responsibility on our shoulders to say that, yes, I do recognize that drugs and alcohol is an issue in my family, in my community, and this is what I want to do about it. And I can work with different organizations such as Equal Playing Field and PNG Sports Foundation, Office of the Narcotics Bureau, and we've got Maris Brothers here as well. City Mission, of course, and Community Corner will always be here under Pasco Promotion. So we're happy to keep the conversations running on different issues that affect everyday life and the lives of Papua New Guineans that truly matter. So from the bottom of my heart and from the team here, thank you so much, everyone, for coming and making time available to raise this important discussion. And I wish you all a blessed day.
I don't want a perfect